Hiya, Steve. How's life in for the best scythist in northern Spain? Or the best Scouse scythist, I should say.
Hello,
Sorry.
Terry. Best Scouse scythist, yeah. Yeah, everything's fine here, mate. Yeah, I'm up in the north of Spain, so the weather's not always great, but at the minute it's nice. So it's been warm the last few days, and working outside with me side and other things. Yeah, so everything's fine.
Nice one. How do you pronounce the place where you are? I've been trying to rehearse it. Asturias, is it pronounced?
Asturias.
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 Okay.
Asturias. Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to ask you, you're fluent. I know there's two languages spoken there, isn't it? The local and Spanish, the Asturian, is it?
Well, I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was fluent, but I can speak Spanish. You know what I mean? And then the local lingo, which is either Asturiano or Bable, is very similar to Spanish, but there's different words and there's some different structures. So I don't speak that. Because I'm rural.
Yeah.
My neighbours speak that, so sometimes I'm a little bit lost when with some of the words they come out with. But everyone, more or less, everyone speaks Spanish on a daily basis. But in the rural areas, they speak the local stuff a bit more.
There's a lot of English speakers as well there.
Well, I teach my day job. I teach English. I teach conversational English. So there's a lot of people learning English for work, but not because there's a lot of Brits here.
Yeah.
You know, people who work in IT and people who work in marketing and all this kind of thing. So there's people learning English. So some people do. There's a lot of people who don't, you know what I mean? It's not like when you go to the Costa del Sol or somewhere like that and almost everyone speaks English. It's not like that.
Yeah. It's the international business language, isn't it? English.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, quite a lot of my students are, you know, IT, the programmers and stuff, and they need English, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm learning German at the moment for my job. And a lot of the IT language is English. You know, I can struggle in a conversation and a meeting with my German colleagues, but IT-wise, everything, as I say, is in English. So can we go back in your life, sort of go back to your Liverpool days before you moved over there to Spain? Tell us about where you were from and where you grew up.
No problem, mate, yeah. Grew up and born in the centre of town, and then grew up in Walton. And spent my childhood in Walton Village, basically. A normal, well, obviously what I would class, it was normal for me, a normal working class upbringing in North Liverpool, basically. Also comp. And that was it, just a working class family. Both parents worked in factories, unskilled factory work.
You went on to do a
nothing
degree?
amazing, you know what I mean? But,
But you
I was the first in the family. I went to Swansea, I knew I was quite bright, you know what I mean? And in those days, we're talking 1988, very few, I don't think anyone else in that year from my school went to university. It just wasn't something really that happened. I always had the idea that it would be better to go to university than to start work at 18. So, so I thought that was going to be my pathway. So I did it, and studied Spanish and politics. And thought I'll try Swansea. Basically, I studied Spanish because I knew that if I did a joint degree with Spanish, I would get a year in Spain as part of my degree, and that seemed very, very interesting. Obviously, I'd enjoyed studying Spanish, you know, A level and stuff like that. And then obviously that third year, I spent, you know, 8 or 9 months in Granada, and obviously I had a great time, and you know, it's a great place to live and stuff. So yeah, it was a great experience.
This is back in the days when you didn't have to pick up a massive debt-laden student grant. Was that before that time? So you don't owe like 100,000, whatever it is, student knows.
I I was one of the last ones who I got a maintenance grant. It didn't cover everything, but I got, because the income by that stage of my parents wasn't particularly high. I got a maintenance grant, and you could still get things like housing benefits as a student in them days. So financially, you could do it. I came out with a debt, but a few grand, nothing in any way comparable to what the kids have to put up with these days.
Yeah, I did myself. I did my degree course at Liverpool, the old Liverpool Poly, back in '86, 3 years. I was in, I had more sort of free income at that time. I was getting my student grant and I was working behind the bar as well, around the Chilwell Abbey, more or less, semi-full time. So I always look back at one of the happiest periods of my life.
Yeah, it wasn't so difficult, was it? You could survive, you could live. You weren't rich, but you could live and enjoy yourself a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we were lucky. Yeah.
So what happened then? You did an English teaching, what's called TEFL course, teaching English foreign language. Or you did a PGCE before?
Well, I did bits and bobs, and then I was working in insurance in the mid '90s, and realised after it was a job and it was paying, but I realised that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I was like, what's the next thing? What can I do? What can I change? And went back and did the PGCE for about 1999 at John Moore's. So went into teaching Spanish and a little bit of French. French is very bad, so I taught basic French. Went into teaching and taught in Kirby and McGull for 15 years. And enjoyed it a lot. It wasn't easy, but I enjoyed it. Had a great time. Worked hard and did well. And then 15 years of it, and thought, the pension keeps getting moved further away. Do I want to do it for another 20, 25 years? And the answer was no. I think I would have been in an early grave. So then it was time to think about the next step.
So then you moved to, I was reading the description of where you're living, and I'm still struggling to pronounce it, Asturias. Yeah. I'm reading it. It says the Cantabric coast with great beaches and colourful fishing villages. Tell us more about where you live. It's an independent region in Spain. What makes it different to the rest of Spain?
Yeah. It's rural. I'll show you. Yeah.
Right.
And you can cut this out if you want.
Yeah, go on.
I'll take it outside.
Okay.
For a second. The sun's not shining, but tell me whether you can see. That's the view.
Yeah.
Out my front door.
Beautiful. Mountainous area.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Just where I am, it's only hills and stuff. But yeah, there's big mountains.
Yeah.
Lovely coastline, loads of cliffs and beaches, and as you say, little villages and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a little. We call it the paraíso natural, the natural paradise, because you can be on the beach in the morning, then you might be able to go skiing later in the day in the mountains and this kind of thing. So it's a nice place.
A beautiful place to live. It looked a bit sort of Irish, the greenery of it. I don't associate that much greenery with Spain.
Yeah, some of my mates came out a couple of years back, actually when we went to Madrid for that European final. And they were amazed. Obviously, most Brits know the south, don't they? Know the south of Spain, but it's not like this at all. And they were all amazed at how green it is. It's green for a reason. It rains sometimes, you know what I mean? But and it's nowhere near as warm as the south, but it's nice. And when the sun comes out, it is a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, it certainly does. So tell us about your full-time, that's your career, you're teaching English as a foreign language. So tell me about your career as a musician, and what part of your life, is that like sort of half your life, half of your leisure time?
It's, basically, yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned to you before that, I messed about a bit. I was always, as a kid, I was always writing lyrics, writing poetry, doing stuff like that. Learned a bit of basic guitar in my teens, but really I was rubbish and I didn't practice. I was lazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then practice with a band for a month or two and stuff like that. So I was always into it, but not into it enough. So I sort of drifted away from it. And then I must have been about 35, so about 16, 17 years ago. I thought, no, it's something I want to do. So I bought myself a synth and just started creating again, you know what I mean? And it's gone from there. And then it's the last few years where I've had a bit more time now that I'm not teaching full time, you know, in a secondary school. So I've got a lot more time to commit to it.
I'm looking at your YouTube channel. You do a couple of cover versions, don't you? Like the Black's Wonderful Life.
Yeah, but what the thinking behind that is, obviously my stuff's all, you know, synthesizer stuff, and then last summer I thought, well, I can play a bit of keyboards, but you know, I play some keyboards. I'm not a piano player, I'm not a musician as such, but I can play some keyboards, some chords and what have you. I thought I'll have another go at the guitar. I've got time, I'll commit to it this time. So I'll try to learn the guitar better. So I've been practicing the guitar, and the aim of doing the, you know, the covers and the videos of the covers is to force me to put that out there. So I've got to practice the guitar because people are going to see it.
Yeah.
So it's still rudimentary guitar playing, you know what I mean? But it's getting better, and every time I put another one on there, hopefully it shows improvement. So so that's the reason to do that. All the other stuff I do obviously is all mine. It's all original.
Yeah. You singing on the tracks as well that you're creating the original music? Was it just pure synthesizer music?
Yeah. It depends. Some of it's instrumental.
Yeah.
And some of it's got vocals. It totally depends. Yeah, it's a bit of a mixture. Some of it's very synth, sort of early 80s synth poppy, and then some of it's a bit more like electronica and, you know, a bit more experimental. Yeah, it's quite a big variation, really.
When I think of synthesized music, the one that jumps out in my mind is Soft Cell, Tainted Love, and their cover version of the Diana Ross song, Where Did Our Love Go? That synthesizer with like a drum beat behind it all the way through.
Yeah, and that's an album that I've seen a million times in second-hand record shops. Their big album, which was what was it called? Cabaret something, and I never bought it, but it's you know, they were great. Yeah. Non-stop erotic cabaret, I think it was called, their first album.
Yeah.
And I could have bought it loads of times, and I've never had it, and I should have it in the collection.
Yeah.
I think someone reviewed me and compared me to Soft Cell.
Oh yeah.
Quite recently.
Yeah.
Which I find, which I don't think I do, but obviously it's a nice comparison because they were great. So.
Yeah. Who are your influences then, or who were your influences for playing your type of music?
The big influence and the big, you know, the band that I was always been a massive fan of is OMD.
Oh yeah.
So another Merseyside link. Yeah, I was into them as a kid, and I've always listened to them even when they went away, you know, and I've got most of their stuff. So if I can get anywhere near, you know, being as good as them, I don't copy it. I don't try to sound like them. I imagine bits of what I do is influenced by them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I certainly don't try to. I'm never going to do what they do as well as they do. So, but it must come through in certain moments, I imagine.
Do you get to perform where you are in northern Spain? Do you have any gigs there that you go to regularly?
No. Over here. Yeah. One of the drawbacks of this place is there's very, very little live music. Occasionally there's a festival, or occasionally there's something on. But no, not a lot. Not over here, no.
Okay. Well, leading on from there, you're coming back to Liverpool, aren't you? You've got a date set up. Can you tell us about that?
I'm back. Yeah, well, I self-released the An EP, yeah, a vinyl EP. That's been my big. Go on, yeah. Welcome to the party, yeah. That's been the big project for the last year, 18 months.
Yeah.
And obviously, I've got the vinyl now, and it's in a few record shops in Asturias. They've got it. They're stocking it and selling it for me.
Yeah.
And there's a few record shops in Liverpool and beyond that have said that they'll sell it. So it was always my intention to come back and deliver it and what have you. And an opportunity came up from one of the shops. He puts on, he puts on live music.
Yeah.
And we were in touch a few months ago, and I jumped at the opportunity. So that's on the 4th of June.
Sort of sorry, in Waterloo, isn't it?
In the afternoon. Yeah, it's Collect and Survive's the name of the shop. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. So I'm gonna do. Obviously, I can't bring the synths on a Ryanair flight. That's not going to happen. So I'm gonna do about 4. It's got to be vocal tracks of mine. But obviously it's with a backing track. I mean, the music's all created and recorded by me, but the music's not going to be live, but I'll be singing live.
Yeah.
This is called To a Dog.
And then I thought to make it a little bit more interesting, there's an old mate of mine, Alan McManus, who does perform around Liverpool, and he's going to come in and we're going to do three of the covers, and he's a great guitarist, so he's going to play the guitar, and we're both going to sing as well. So,
brilliant.
So it'll just vary it a bit. So it should be great. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, what I'll do as well when I finish this, I'll put a link on to where people can come and see and the dates and things and where it is when it's happening. I was going to ask you about that collaboration. Is there other musicians that you do collaborate with? I know you're on your own there, but do you get in touch?
No. No, not really. I mean, obviously through social media, I'm in contact with other musicians, and you try to support other people and share their stuff and things like that. But actually working on music, no, I do it all myself. I create it myself. I record it myself, and if it needs singing, I'll sing it myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I never would.
Yeah.
But that the right sort of opportunity to do it so far hasn't arisen. But yeah, obviously with the right person, the right sort of project, then it could happen. Yeah.
How do you sort of become a Hitwise? I know when I was a kid growing up, it was pretty simple. You know, a band or a singer would go on Top of the Pops, they'd sell songs, and then people would buy the song from a record shop and they'd go into the top 20 charts. Now there seems to be loads of things all over the place. There's Spotify, but there's the YouTube channels.
Yeah,
download
absolutely. It's very, very fragmented. Obviously, people consume. I'm old-fashioned. That's why I wanted to do a vinyl record, which has been my thing. But obviously, I'm on Spotify. I'm on YouTube. You can download and stream from Bandcamp.
Yeah.
there's a lot of there's so many people making music, and obviously some of it's very good. So there's a lot of noise, and it's very difficult to cut through at times. Obviously, I submit to lots of different radio shows. I get played on the internet podcasts and stuff like that as well. So you just have to keep plugging away, basically.
Are you sort of on your own, or are you signed up with a record label, or is that something that you'd want to do? Are you happy being freelance?
Mine's all freelance. I do it all. For the vinyl EP, I did use a studio for the mixing and the mastering, because obviously it needed to be of top-notch quality. Normally I do it all myself. I would gladly sign to a decent label, but it's not something that I'm actively sort of seeking out. If somebody ever approached me and said, would you like to work with us, then I would obviously look at it.
Was that expensive, getting the studio time?
Well, I recorded it at home. And then I sent them the tracks. It was basically during the lockdown when I had the idea, because I had, lots of time, like lots of people, and thought I could use this time to do something a little bit different. So I just started looking around and contacted this little studio in Oviedo, which is one of the cities, the capital of Asturias, and they gave me a very reasonable sort of rate to mix and master and do it. Also, if the vinyl thing came off, and so it was a very good deal for me.
Okay. What's your sort of dream? What's your aspiration? Is to get like a hit record out there? Is that a stupid question?
No. Well, I don't think what I do is quite niche. I think some of it sounds quite retro, so it's kids. It's not going to be for the kids. You know what I mean? No, for me. Doing the project of doing the vinyl is a big thing for me. This, it's I'm really proud that I've managed to get through the whole process with all myself, apart from obviously the studio and the people who made the records. So that's been a big thing. The gig in a couple of weeks' time, hopefully that's going to go really well. That's another thing. That's another sort of step. Basically, just that people, as many people as possible, listen to the music. It's not for everyone, but a lot of people, when they hear it, they like it. But it's about getting it to as many people as possible. And when I get reviews, they're usually very, 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 very positive and very supportive. And the EP was reviewed recently, and it's a really, really, really positive thing. So that's great. And it's just about getting that to as many people as possible, so that they can make up their own mind, basically.
Well, can I ask you about the name you use on Twitter, at least? The Exposed Brick. Where did that come from?
Exposed Brick. Yeah, it was a bit of a joke. In the old days, when we used to sit in the dark house, a little backstreet pub in Kirkdale, basically, before we used to go to the match. Obviously, having a good laugh and things, and just phrases that people would say, just little things, and you say, "Oh, that'd make a good name for a band," or "That sounds like a pretty dodgy B-side," or maybe that's an album. That sounds like an album. That. And one of the things that someone said once was just exposed brick. And we all remembered it. And then when I started doing the music and putting it out there onto the internet, that was the first thing that sort of came to mind.
It's a great name. It's catchy. It stands out.
Well, it's a bit different.
Steve, where can people buy this vinyl?
The vinyl, there's two shops in Asturias, but I imagine we're not going to have too many listeners in Asturias. In Liverpool, definitely in Collect and Survive.
Okay.
And then, what's it called? There's one. Is it the musical box? I should know. In Tobruk, the oldest record shop in Liverpool. It's been there for 70 odd years. They've agreed to sell it.
Trying to think where that is. On the main road, on the East Prescott Road, do you think?
It's on, yeah. It's
what I'll do, Steve, I'll dig a link out of it, and I'll put like a picture.
I think it's called a musical box.
Yeah.
And then hopefully also 81 Renshaw, but I'm still talking to them, and maybe Dig, but they haven't quite confirmed yet. I'm still still waiting for confirmation, but definitely Collect and Survive in Waterloo.
Okay.
And definitely I think it's the music box or the musical box in Tobruk.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also online, you can also buy it from my Bandcamp, because I did before this. I did a crowdfunder as well to make sure that I had some money, to pay towards it, because obviously it's been quite expensive.
I can imagine.
So it's all, some people have already received it through the crowdfunder, but people can still buy it directly from me via my Bandcamp page.
Okay.
And you can download it from Bandcamp from the 10th of June. Once the people have had the vinyl, then you can just buy the download. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds pretty clear. Can just going off on tangents, if you don't mind. What's the impact of UK leaving the European Union? Has that had any impact on you where you are? Have you got Spanish citizenship?
Not citizenship, but I've got long-term residency. So it's not, me personally, it's not impacted too much. But my partner she from Scotland, from Glasgow. She went back to Scotland a few years ago, and will be coming back hopefully. But now for her, it's much more complicated. It's whereas before she could have just come back. That's no longer the case now. So so it impacts absolutely. Me personally, on a day-to-day basis now. Yeah.
Another tangent. You're a Liverpool supporter.
I am, yeah. Technically, still got my season ticket.
Yeah, what? Someone else paying it the monthly.
Yeah, I haven't been. Yeah, I haven't been for obviously with COVID and everything, and then I haven't been this season either. So it's a good few years since I've actually managed to get to a match. Yeah, must be about 4 years, 3-4 years now. But yeah, I was season ticket holder and always went when I was a kid. And
what do you think of the season? Going to the wire on Sunday, I think.
But it's just been amazing, isn't it? You've just got to enjoy it. If any Liverpool supporter can't enjoy what they've been doing this season, then you're in the wrong game, aren't you?
I mean, it's the best ever team.
To win two trophies already. To take City to the last game, which you basically compete with the government. Yeah, exactly. You can just spend as much money as they want. And for us to compete and then also get to the European Cup final is just absolutely amazing. I'm just obviously I don't think it's going to turn out for us on Sunday, but you never know.
It's unlikely.
So, no expectations from me, but obviously there's always a slim chance, so you can have a little bit of hope. Yeah. And I just hope that on the 28th that we're not leggy, that we're not tired.
They were after that FA Cup final
against Madrid.
I was getting tired watching it myself. The Wembley pitch is like about 10 yards longer, wider than normal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Madrid basically have had 3 weeks off because they won the league 2 weeks ago, and I've just been resting people.
Oh, yeah. So
they're going to be absolutely bang on and ready and fresh. Yeah. And I think we're better than them. Yeah. I think if all things equal on the day, I think we beat them. Yeah. But if we need to be on our game, and if after 64 matches and tough games in the run up, that's my only concern, that we might be a bit leggy. Yeah.
Well, that's why he made 9 changes for the last night's match. Well, I think like at the average game.
Oh yeah, football, absolutely, yeah.
It is, yeah. They're running about 15 miles, aren't you? Average football in an average game of football.
Oh yeah.
Between 10 and 15 miles, and to do that 60 odd times in a season.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the intensity of what they do. I think some people go, "Oh, they're rich. They get paid loads of money," and then they say they're tired. Yeah. Well, they are rich, And absolutely, but
the human.
Any athlete, any professional athlete, if you to compete, you know, you're at pretty much 100% to be able to compete. You only need to drop a few percent, and then all of a sudden you're nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
And no athlete can do it all the time. They need to rest, or the level drops, and it's as simple as that. And so the 9 changes last night was an absolute must. Yeah. Unfortunately, we still got the result.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it's been brilliant chatting to you, and thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Well,
thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Hopefully, you'll get a few minutes worth of interesting conversation that you can use. And obviously, I've been looking at your, you know, other interviews. I had a look at a couple before, and you know, I'll do my best to support and
nice one.
And share some stuff and things like that as well.
All right, give us a subscribe. I think I've subscribed to your channel as well, Steve. I think I have. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Have I not? Did I not subscribe?
I don't know. I
thought I had, but
sometimes I get like a message.
I didn't.
I get a message about 5 days later. Sometimes say so and so subscribed. Other times I get one like within 5 minutes. I don't know how YouTube works it, but anyway, no.
Right. Okay.
No. Okay. But listen, best of luck when you come to. All right. Best of luck when you come to Liverpool. Send me a message as well to remind me so I can put out, you know, I can try and help promote it for you.
Sounds appreciated.
All right.
I will do. Thank you very much.
No problem at all, Steve. Well, as I say, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, mate.
Nice chatting to you, fella. Perhaps we'll have another chat at some point in the future.
Definitely, yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. You take care for now anyway. And see you again. Cheers, Steve. Ta-ra, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. Cheers, lad.
Ta-ra. Bye now. Bye.